welcome to day one of Advent. I'm in a different part of where I normally film because I've got all my, actually let me spin you around slightly. I have all my Advents spread out here. You're probably going to see various parts of my flat over the next month because I just won't be in the same place that often. We're going to see how this works. I have a feeling the lighting might end up looking terrible because there isn't a lot of light over in this part of the room, so I've had to put a lamp on over there, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the day, and I say start the day, it's currently 4 minutes past 10. My boyfriend started work late today, so the idea of filming while he's in the house or in the flat feels bad, so I waited for him to go to work. But let's crack on and let's open some Advent, shall we? Because it is the first day of Advent. I hope you're all enjoying December so far. You won't be seeing this for about a week from today, so I mean, let's hope no tragic world events happen, because that wouldn't be very festive, would it? Which, I'm trying to decide which one of these Advents I want to start with. I think I'm going to start with the Greenlambkin Yarn Advent. Oh, I'm knocking things over. Also, forewarned, there's probably going to be a fair amount of rustling during the Advent opening portion of these, because maybe I could have done all the rustling before I started filming, but that's not the kind of preparation. Is that a 1 or is that a 7? It was a 7. Yes, it was a 7. Praise be for that, because otherwise I would have opened about 6 days early. And honestly, opening a day 6 days early, to me, then Advent would be ruined. I'd be sad for the rest of the month. So this is the Greenlambkin Yarn Advent. This one is Mrs. Claus's Kitchen. Oh, I tried to open it nicely. I failed. And day one is Candied Peel. So it comes with a little slip that has like the kind of information on it. And this is... So like I said, if you watch my intro to Advent video, the Greenlambkin Yarn is a sparkle sock base. And this is Candied Peel, which feels very appropriate for Mrs. Claus's Kitchen. You've got, it's mostly a pale yellow, but then you've got the kind of little pops of green and little kind of deeper pops of yellow and orange in there. Wonderful, what a great start. I need to work out how I'm going to store these Advents when I'm kind of going through the month. I forgot what I did last year, so I think what I did last year worked, but I don't remember what that was. Let's do Pigment Ply, because it is on top. So, Pigment Ply, I am getting in their BFL 4-ply base. Number one. So these come in these little boxes. Oh, we are starting out with a really fun, deep, it's kind of, I think it's like a mixture of a brown and a purple, and then there's some pops of lighter colour on there. Let me look at what the name of day one is. Day one is The Quiet Between Pages, and this is the mood board that we're working with for the first 4 days, so I mean, I think they've nailed it. Love that. Oh, I'm excited. I think for Pigment and Plies, I'm going to put them back in the box, but I'm not going to store all the boxes in here. I'll store the boxes separately, I think. Does that make any sense? Potentially not. I already feel like I've run out of room. Let's move these out of the way actually, because I'm not opening them until the end of the month. Let's do the Yarn Whisperer Advent. So, day one of the Yarn Whisperer Advent is called Sepia Storm. And that's fine, I think. They are black. No, they are black, they are. No. Let's not do that, so let's see what it is. 3, 5, 7, 19, 17, 13. I need to put points. 1. There we go. I might have to organise these going forward just so I can Because otherwise, like what are we? We're 5 minutes in and like most of that has been me rooting around a bag. So day one, like I said, is Sepia Storm. Ooh. I love Corridel. So this one I'm getting on their Corridel sock base. And this is a really fun kind of tonal neutral. Oh, I love this base. That's so nice. It smells like a sheep, which we love to see. So that is Sepia Storm. That is our Yarn Whisperer, day one. Let's go for the Crafty Bird and then let's end on another new to me. So the Crafty Bird is Christmas at Pooh Corner, and I'm getting this on their Cozy DK base, which is 100% superwash merino. Also, fair warning, throughout the month of December, the noise you're going to hear me say most is you'll hear a lot of like, ooh, because that's kind of the reaction they have to nice yarn. So day one of this one is called Eeyore. I'm expecting a grey. Oh, love that. That's a nice kind of variegated speckled grey. And this is the advent that I am planning on using through the month, or the one that I know I'm going to use throughout the month. Feeling this is more than 20 grams. That's the plan for the Crafty Bird advent. But I will keep you updated on that. I'll show you me kind of casting on and making progress on that. Let me put that back over there. And then finally is the TedKnits. And this is the Gothic, what's it actually called? Yeah, just the Gothic Advent 2025. Now this one doesn't have a numbering system, so it's kind of pick your days as you go. Let me take the tea and coffee out of the pot. I will put that in my kitchen. Oh, maybe I will have a green tea today. I might treat myself. I don't know whether to just go random. I don't think I want to like read all the names and then pick them out. So let me just, if I feel like it's not the vibe, then I'll put it back. But Arsenic and Lace. Yeah, let's start with Arsenic and Lace. Oh, that's a nice kind of sagey green with some grey that's floating around. I'm not sure. No, I think these colours have all shown up quite well on camera. So that was Arsenic and Lace, and this is on 100% superwash merino, but they're fingering weight. Let me take the bags out. And let me put that back in, just so I don't lose anything. So that is day one of Advent. Let me get this back out just so I can show you all the days again. So on Sparkle Sock from Greenlambkin Yarn, we have Candied Peel. On BFL 4-ply, we have, don't remember the name of this, but we have this wonderful deep kind of purpley brown. On Corridel Sock, we have Sepia Storm from the Yarn Whisperer. We have Eeyore on Cozy DK, which is 100% superwash merino from the Crafty Bird. Love that. And then we have Arsenic and Lace from TedKnits on their 100% superwash merino, but they're 4-ply base. So these are all of, let me hold them up. So this is all of day one. So we've got some nice variation. I mean, they're obviously all different advent. I don't know why I'm saying nice variation as though they're not all completely different dyers. Of course, they're all various colours. And I think I'll wind this one up in a little bit and cast on. So I will catch up with you and I'll talk about the pattern that I'm doing. I feel like I want to weigh this. This is either just like loosely spun. I feel like Yarnadelic, which is Corridel, looked a bit like this. I think it's just a puffier base, so it kind of, you feel like you get more bulk, but puffier, not really a word, but I mean it is a word, but not really the right word. But that is Advent day one. I will see you probably a little bit later to cast on and I'll talk about the pattern that I'm going to be making through December. So I will see you then. Bye. Hi, me again. Same day. I've left the camera in the same place, but it's been 3 hours since I last spoke to you. A few days ago, someone on Instagram, who I shouldn't just say someone. Let me tell you their name. Alina from Woolinton Yarn Club messaged me and very kindly offered to send me their December, I think it's their December yarn club from the Woolinton Yarn Club. So if you aren't aware of the Woolinton Yarn Club, it is a mini skein club that is released monthly, and each month is a different kind of, I guess, celebration of a different dye as yarn. I was just looking down the hallway then, not even paying attention to the camera. It's a different dye as yarn. So what you'll get is, I think you get 10 minis that are already wound up, and then within that you're getting kind of a sample of a dye as yarn. So this arrived really quickly as well. So just to be transparent, this was gifted to me. I did not pay for this with my own money, but Woolinton Yarn Club, that's the little bag that it comes from. And if you are interested, their website is www.woolinton.com, so I'll show their tag. And they're also on Instagram, if you search Woolinton Yarn Club on there as well. And I just thought this was so kind of Alina to offer to send this to me. She knows that I love a mini, and I thought, when she offered it to me, I thought, I'm going to be opening so many minis in December. What are 10 more? Specifically though, with the 10 in these, if you've been watching my channel before, then you will have seen I have a long-term blanket that I'm doing that's a granny square blanket. So using minis or sometimes leftovers in fingering weight to make a granny square. And then eventually, when I've got about 200 of them, I'll join them together as a blanket. So that's my intention for these, but I have not seen these yet. So we will see what the vibe of the yarn is. Comes in a really cute little pink bag. And actually, this is going to be useful for... I'm moving house. I think I've already said. It's all I've been going on about for weeks. I feel like this would be nice to have as a little storage bag. Let me pick one of these out to see. Okay, so this month's dyer is Eden Cottage Yarns, and each of the colourways, I will show you the colourways by the way, each of the colourways are named as well. Let me let me pick them out and show them to you. So this is the first one. So it's coming up a lot brighter on camera than it is in person. It's a bit more of a muted red. Actually, there we go. That's a much more closer representation. I think the really fun thing about these, and I'm pretty sure Alina does this herself, they're kind of already wound into a usable little ball. It doesn't come as a skein that you then have to use for. So if you don't have a yarn winder, or if you find it a bit of a faff, which it can be sometimes, these come really ready to use. So they'll be great if you want to get them as like a little monthly club. So that is the first one, which is Faded Bloom. The second one is called Compost, which is this really nice little kind of warm toned grey, almost like taupey colour. It's like a lucky dip bag. The third one is called Falling Leaves, which is this kind of almost, is that going to focus? There we go. It's almost like a peachy brown. It's showing up quite well on camera there actually. So that's Falling Leaves. This one is Bog Myrtle. So this is a much, again, kind of a peachy, but almost like a salmony pink, leaning more into the orange side of things. And then we have Whispering Grass, which is a really nice, light, kind of neutral. Then we have Bark, which is a nice deep, still kind of cool toned, but almost leaning more kind of chocolatey brown. We have Ivy, which is a kind of, I feel like I'm saying the exact same words a lot, so apologies for that. This is like a cool toned green, leaning kind of sagey, but a bit deeper than a sage green, I'd say. We have Rambling Rose, and this is really like a kind of dusky rose. That's a perfect name for that one. We have, Hyssop. Hyssop? I don't know how that's pronounced, but this is It's showing, no, you can see it on camera, it's kind of a blue toned grey, so it's a much deeper grey, but it's definitely got some blue tones going throughout it. And then last but not least, we have Driftwood, which is another neutral. If I show you the neutrals next to each other, you should, by neutrals what I mean is like the kind of, these two really. There we go, then you can see that that one's a much more cool tone. This one's got a bit more yellow in it, so Whispering Grass is at the top and has a bit more of a yellow undertone, and then Driftwood's much more cool toned. And that is, let me see if I can kind of show you these all at once. I might end up dropping these all over the place. I mean, you're mostly going to look at my hands there, so that's not super successful. But that is this month's, I'm pretty sure it's December's club, but it might be November's because it was sent out straight away, so it might have been the month just gone. But I have never heard of Knitting and Crochet yarns before, so I'm really interested to try them out. And now I have a wonderful little collection of minis for my blanket. Having seen these now, where they're all tonals, there is a chance that I might actually do something a bit more just with these colours, because I think they're actually super fun. It's a really, really nice colour palette. Let me see if I can kind of, there we go. I mean, I could just move the camera. Oh God, no, it's gone on the floor. Right, I will pick those up in a sec. But thank you to Alina for sending these over to me. It's very, very kind of you. And like I said, this is a Woolinton Yarn Club, so I'm not sponsored to talk about this at all, but this was sent to me, so, and I highly recommend it. I might actually, because I've been umming and ahhing about clubs for next year, and one of the things that I am thinking about is my blanket, my mini skein blanket. So I do think a club like this might be ideal to find some little yarn clubs, because now Knitting and Crochet yarns, I'm going to go look them up and find out what they're about, because I've never heard of them before, and I don't think I've ever seen them at a show, so I think it's a really, really lovely way to see that, and they're UK based, so I highly recommend you go and check them out. What I'm going to go do now, because it's been 3 hours, I haven't cast on my project that I was going to. I think I'm going to go wind up this yarn and cast it on, because otherwise I'll just sit here all day and then I'll fall behind and I'll fall back at the first hurdle. So I will let you go and then I will see you a little bit later. Hello. I think the lighting's going to be awful in most of these videos. It's very grey outside and all the lighting in this room is quite yellow, so I think things might look weird and I won't know until I go to edit them, so bear with me. I thought I'd talk to you a little about a bit of knitting rather than just all the yarn that's arrived. So I have 2 things that I'm going to talk to you about. One is I have cast on my Advent project that I'm working on this month. Or one of them. It's the only one I know for certain that I'm going to work on. The other ones, inspiration might strike me during the month of. And like I've said, so this is the Crafty Bird Eeyore colourway wound up. I always think it's fun how yarns can look so different wound up. This has it's a lot darker, I think, wound up than it was in the original skein. And I have cast on and knitted the first section, which is all I'm knitting with this day's, that's got tangled up, which is all I'm knitting with this day's. And this is the Scattering Petals Cowl by Dana Rae Makes. So I have knitted, or I am currently knitting another one of these using my 3rd Volt Yarn Universe at Your Doorstep yearly kind of club that comes monthly, and I really, really like the pattern. It doesn't look like a lot at the moment. So if you've not seen on my channel before, the pattern is kind of a 2x2 rib that's offset. So this here is colour 1. Colour 2 will kind of knit the opposite sections and purl the opposite sections. So you end up with these alternating bumps through. At the moment, this kind of just looks like I've started the ribbon for a hat. So you won't really get the effect until day 2's in, really until day 3's in, when the needles are a bit further away from the knitting. But this is how day 1 has knitted up. I really, really like it. I love the Crafty Bird's speckles and variegations, so this was no surprise to me. So that's where we are. What I need to do is I need to find a project bag for this, because otherwise it will get unruly. I also need to find a storage for the leftovers, because this is probably only used, so this is a 20g mini. I'd be shocked if this is used much more than 5 grams. It might have used maybe close to 7, but I will ball this up and then I will save this until the end of Advent. And then I might need to use, depending on how long I want this cowl, I might use each colourway twice in it, so I might use them more in this cowl. Or if I don't need them, then I'll have them and I'll use them together in another project, is the general idea. So I just need to find a project buyer for that to go in, and then we're all good. I have also, because I'm not going to do a podcast this month, these videos are going to kind of be how I, not kind of, they're going to be how I keep you up to date on my crafting. Since I last podcast, which was a week ago, I have started and finished a whole project. I just need to look up on my laptop what this project's called, because I do not remember. This is the Light as a Feather Cowl. It's a free pattern by Katie Herod of Songbird Handmade, which I don't know if that's a YouTube channel. I don't know what Songbird Handmade is. And it's a really, really simple pattern. So it uses one skein of DK, but what I've done is used one skein of fingering held double. This is what I've got left of it. It was an unnamed colourway from the Crafty Bird that I got well over a year ago now, in kind of one of their mystery drops where you could kind of get some mystery skeins that they were kind of doing at a discount. And this is the cowl. So it's a free pattern, like I said. All it is you do 1.5 inches of ribbing, and then there's this kind of checkerboard section in the middle, and then you do another 1.5 inches of ribbing. And it's a kind of, I was about to say it's kind of a cowl, but I can't say the word cowl any more times. You can't describe a cowl as being a cowl. But it's one of those kind of single rounds, kind of fits quite close to your neck, but it's loose enough that if you wanted to bring it up over your face, you could do. This is a Christmas gift for my father. So this is one of my gift knits, and it knitted up really quickly. I did this in about a week. I cast on the Sunday that I last posted, and I finished yesterday, so it was kind of a Sunday to Sunday project. And I could have done it a bit quicker, but I waited to do the cast off for a while. I think my memory card is running out of space, which is always great on the first day. I have done a twisty bind off that I don't know if I've done that successfully, but it is nice and stretchy. I'll be honest though, it felt silly to do, but and I have one mistake where like it's not drawn together super close, is that you can see there as I've bound off, but I think it will be fine. I think we'll live. So this, like I said, is a gift knit for my dad. I'll have the pattern link down below. I'm going to go because I think my camera's about to stop recording because it's run out of space, so I will. Good morning, welcome to day 2 of Advent. Apologies about the way yesterday ended. My memory card ran out of space, and then I tried to sort it out, and then I just carried on with the rest of my day without really thinking about it. So I think I told you all the things I was going to tell you about that project, not a product. But welcome to day 2 of Advent. I'm going to open up my day 2s of Advent because why would I do anything else? What I've done is the 2 that require some rifling through, I've already gone and got them out, so you don't have to sit and just watch me go through a bag for 5 minutes today, which I hope you enjoy, unless you really enjoyed the bag ruffling, in which case apologies. Which one shall I start with? Let's do the 2 that I have already here with me. So this is day 2 from the Yarn Whisperer. I will try my best not to repeat myself every single day. So I'm not going to tell you all the facts every single day about everyone. Although what I do need to do is I need to get the card out to tell you what this is called. So day 2 is called Tornado Clogs. And it's a really, really nice, almost tonal, but with a bit of variegation in there, grey. So we are following on nicely from CPS Storm. Just fun. I'm going to keep them all side by side for now. Oh, I've just been charged for my next Wall and Witch order. That's fun. So that should be on the way soon. And then let's do Greenlambkin Yarns for the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen. So, day 2 of this one is called Hot Chocky and Marshmallows, and this is really nice, very, very bright. There's some really bright pops of pink in there, almost like highlighter pinks, with then some deeper brown bits for the hot chocolate. So definitely not a fade this year. which I'm a fan of. So those are the first 2 days for Mrs. Claus's kitchen. Let's do Pigment Ply, seeing as it's on top. What I won't do is, because I've realised I've started doing it, I won't every day show you all of them with their previous days, because I feel like that will get a bit laborious. But what I will do is at the end of every week show you that weeks of each as like a bit of a roundup, because I think that'll be a bit more time efficient. So number 2 from Pigment Ply, it's called Notes in the Margins. Oh, and we have gone for, yeah, that's showing up quite well on camera actually. It's not, the light behind me is absolutely blowing me out. Apologies about that. But it's a much brighter day today. It was very grey and drizzly, so I'll have to play around with the angle tomorrow. But a really nice tonal, very burgundy. I will, because I have for the others, I will show you this side by side for this one. So we've gone from a variegated to a tonal. I wonder actually if we're going to get alternating variegated and then tonals with Pigment Plies this year. I know she did like a vote earlier in the year, but for the life of me cannot remember what the outcome of that was. So maybe that's the outcome. Maybe we're going to end up with a mixture of kind of half and halves, which will be interesting as to how that then affects the kind of project that I end up doing with it. So that's day 2 of the Pigment Ply advent. Let's put that on there for now so it's out of the way. Let's do Crafty Bird last, because that's the one I'm going to work with. It ended up taking me all day till I got around to working with this today, so I'm going to try and work with it a bit quicker today. Oh no, these don't have... Shall I just pick out at random again? Let's go over here. Let's go for Blood Moon. So that's day 2, or the second one I'm opening of the TedKnits Gothic Advent. So I have a feeling I know what kind of colour this will be. Oh, actually very similar to the Pigment Ply, but a bit more variegated in there. So that's really nice. So those are the 2. So we had Arsenic and Lace yesterday, and then Blood Moon today. I'm not sure with the TedKnits as to whether I'm going to track the way I open them and then use them in that way. I probably won't, because that way I can just be a bit more like prescriptive about the way I want to use them. It might give me a bit more freedom with the kind of patterns I want to use. But the ones that have numbers on I will use in the order they come from, because I'm that kind of person. So the final one to open today is day 2 of the Crafty Bird Christmas at Pooh Corner Daily Advent, and this is Tut Tut, It Looks Like Rain. Oh, that's really pretty. So we've got some greys again, but there's kind of some really nice variation of blue throughout there. That's a really, really nice colourway. I think it's showing up a little bit warmer toned on camera than it is. That's really lovely. One thing about Advents that I really like is some of these dyers will do full skein like pre-orders next year of some of the colourways. Some of them will do all of them, so you can buy any of the colours, and then some will pick out a handful, because obviously 24 different colours is quite a lot to dye. But I think a full project out of this colourway would be nice. But I'm not going to start planning that yet, because it's the 2nd of December and I haven't seen them all. But I really like that. So I'm excited to put this in. What I'm going to do actually, so it's 10:07 at the moment. I'm going to go wind this up now, I think, and then put it into that project. The Scattering Petals that I showed you yesterday, so that I can get through with this. And then we will see where today takes us. So I will catch up with you when I have wound this up and put day 2 into the Crafty Bird Advent project. So I will see you in a little bit. Right, we are back. I'm filming this using I'm still using my camera obviously, but I don't have you on a tripod, so forgive me if the camera's a bit shaky. Normally I have you on a tripod, but it felt a bit much to whack up the tripod just to show you this. So I have added in day 2 to my Scattering Petals cowl, so there you can see how we're starting to, you'll see it better at day 3, but you can start to see the kind of unaligned 2x2 ribbing there, and the contrast between day 1 and day 2. You can definitely see the blue a lot more now that it's knitted up than you could in the skein, which is nice. So I'm chuffed with that. It takes me about an hour or so to get in. I watched an episode of Ambulance on iPlayer. I love a program about ambulances. Ambulances, hospitals, police people, love it. So that took me about an hour, which is making me kind of think that I want to start another Advent project, because this isn't going to be a lot of knitting on any of the days. The only thing I'm thinking, I have 2 weeks off at the moment, so I have the time where I could definitely do something else, but then I don't have the time off afterwards and I don't want to fall behind, so I need to think about that a little bit. But for now, we are done with Advent crafting, happy with how this is working up, and I think I'm going to go make a tea, because I haven't had a Christmas tea for a little while. Oh, do I want... No, I'll have a tea. I'm currently having some Wittard's like Christmas tea blend, which my boyfriend got me last year and it was vile. This year he got me it again because he forgot that I hated it last year. This year though, it's really nice. I don't know if they changed it or whether I just didn't like it last year for some reason. So I'm going to go and have a Wittard's. Also, I feel like I look like I'm in the white void. I'm just in the corner of a, like there is stuff around me. It feels like I'm in prison a little bit. But I'm going to go make myself a tea, so I will see you, I might see you again later, mostly this afternoon. I'm going to start doing some packing, so, which I probably won't film, because that would be boring. So I might see you tomorrow, might be the next clip, but you'll see. I'll decide, we'll go from there. So I will see you whenever that is. Oh, is it really dark? Apologies if most of this video is just in the dark, because I've not started editing yet, so I won't know, but until I do. I've just had like an overwhelming desire. It's still day 2, by the way. I've decided that I want to start organising these mini skeins, because I was just sat on my sofa looking at my dining table and thinking, there's not even any room to have dinner, and it's only day 2. I've got another 22 days of Advent to get through. What I have is these IKEA Istad bags, and I have them in the 4.5 litre and 6 litre sizes. Don't really know why I bought these sizes. Sometimes when I'm in IKEA, I feel like I can't leave without buying something, but what I'm thinking is I want to kind of... I found it hard last year to keep track of 24 days because I was keeping them in bags that held 24 days, but it was hard to know which was which because sometimes they just shift about, and that's harder to manage with 24 than it is with 7. I forgot the number 7 then, apologies. So what my thinking is I'm thinking I could use these and have one of these for each week, which to potentially, oh my god, is that just longer? Is that the vibe? Yeah, I don't need that one. I'm annoyed that I've taken it out now. So what I'm thinking I'm doing is I'm going to put them in weeks, because then my plan is to show you, I'm just going to stuff this in here. My plan is to then show you each week together on, like, at the end of each week's video. I've said the word week so much. So let's see if I think this will be the vibe. I'm starting to think that maybe it's a little bit big for these skeins, but for these Yarn Whisperer ones, I think it might be perfect. But maybe it's perfect for all of them as well. What do I think? I think this might be the move, because also it means that I can just move them about easily, and when I want to serve dinner, God, what a perfect fit that is. I love that for me. There we go. This is what I'm going to do. Do I have any smaller ones that would be, I don't think I do, that would be the right size for? So that is this ridiculous? Is this too many bags that I'm going to be using? So I would need 20 bags. I don't have 20 bags. Bear with me, I'm just going to go and see if I have any smaller bags. I have returned from the bag quest. I found these. I forgot I had these still. So these are also the Estad, but they're like the smaller size ones. So these have a 1.2 litre and a 2.5 litre on. And I think these will actually be a better size for the like normal mini skins. Because the ones from the Yarn Whisperer, I don't know whether it's because they're Corriedale or just because they're like wound a bit looser. But they're just a bit like longer, they're bigger skeins. I've not weighed them, but I think they do feel like they're still 20 grams. I don't think that I've just been given loads of free yarn. But that works quite well in there actually. So I think between, how many do you get in here? You get 25 of these. I have used some already, but I'm thinking if I use 4 of the big ones for the Yarn Whisperer, and then I will use these smaller ones. I actually only need 3 because I'm going to keep the Pigment Ply ones in their boxes because that's easier. So actually I only need 3 for these. This is really boring, I'm imagining, because I'm just talking to you about bags that I'm putting my yarn in. But I was just over there and I thought, if I'm unorganised on day 2, what's going to happen by the time we get into like double digits? Is that sealed? Is that already sealed? No, there we go. So then, I have these bags to store them in. And like I said, I will do them weekly. I might find a pen to write so I can remember week 1, week 2, week 3. Because I'll remember which is which, because they're so drastically different. Like this is obviously Yarn Whisperer. This is obviously, these two are already such different vibes that I'll know which ones they are. And I feel better about that. I mean, the table is still a mess, so this hasn't really solved that issue. But at least now I feel a bit more organised. And sometimes productivity is lying to yourself that you've done something. So that's it really. What I'm actually going to do is I was going to do some packing, which I do desperately need to do. But I remembered I still need to wind up one of the massive skeins of chunky yarn I've got for my sister's scarf that you'll have seen if you've watched my previous podcasts. Because I need to do the final 20 inches on that. Because my plan is to start wrapping Christmas presents next week, so I really want to get all the makes done this week, potentially. So I need to wind that up because it's too big for my Swift, so I need to do it across these 2 chairs, and it takes forever, and I hate it, and my hands hurt after doing it, but needs must. And then I will maybe catch up with you a little bit later if I'm doing any crafting, but if not, I will see you tomorrow. So either way, I'll see you then. Good morning. It is day 3 of Advent, and surprise to no one, we're going to open our Advents. I've edited the first 2 days together, and the lighting actually doesn't look as bad when I edit together as it does, like to me in the viewfinder. So fingers crossed that's still the case. We'll find out as things go along. I'm hoping by the end of December I'll have one really solid video, because I'll have figured out more of this kind of vlogging thing across the month. But we're going to open up Advents now. Are you kind of like, is that a better angle? I don't know. Now I feel like I'm too near the edge. There we go, we'll go with it. So I think I've said that, I'm going to open up my Advents. Today's agenda is, I actually haven't done, it's my 3rd day off, and I still haven't done any packing, so I'm going to pack at least 1 box. My main conundrum is when I pack the boxes, I don't know where to put the boxes because we don't have any room. The packing I'm going to be doing isn't going to like condense other stuff. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but that's not your problem. You're not moving house. Or you might be. If you are, love that for you. So, and then I also need to make a lasagna. They're the 2 main goals for today. But first, I'm going to open my Advents. And then I'll also do some knitting and some crafting that I will tell you about later. I'm going to start with the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen Advent, day 3. I don't need to say day 3, because obviously that's the thing I'm doing. And day 3, let me get the little slip of paper up first, is Sugar Plums. An awful thought there that I've got the wrong... Oh, and there is also something wrapped up in a little, so we'll get that out in a sec. And Sugar Plums is a wonderful purple, a pretty variegated purple with various different speckles in. There we go. So that's day 3. And then this is wrapped up like a sweet, but I don't think it is a sweet. So let me that is adorable. So it's a little, I guess a little tree decoration of a little lollipop. And it has, that might have been really loud actually, sorry. Has a little bell on it as well. That is cute. Oh God, I've just dropped it on the floor. We'll get that in a second. I'll think of somewhere to hang that up for the next few weeks while I still live here. That's cute. But that is the Greenlambkin Yarns advent. I feel like I don't know if I sound it, I feel like I'm getting nasally. I don't feel sick at all, but I feel like maybe the weather changing has made me like nasally. So if that comes across, if I sound really bunged up, then apologies. Next, we're going to do the Yarn Whisperer Steampunk Oz. Let me get the yarn names. Oh. This is Emerald Eclipse, which I think is a wonderful name for a colourway. So I'm hoping, oh, can I not open this? Shouldn't be that difficult. I'm hoping that, or I'm expecting, I guess, some fun green. Ooh, that is a very fun green. I love that a lot. That's kind of exactly what I was hoping for with this colourway. One thing I've seen, Kaiti has been posting his colourways on Instagram. He started with the first couple and he's posting them in the bases, like the various bases. And you can tell that the Corridale base is a much kind of, it takes the dye in a much softer way than like the Merino bases. And I really like that actually. I like how the softness is playing out. I think it's going to make the colour palette really nice to work with. So that is day 3 of the Yarn Whisperer. Which one do we want to go for next? Let's do the Crafty Bird next, shall we? Advent really is the best time of year. I just have such a good time. This is Help, Papa Piglet, Me. I think that's a line from something. I think that's probably not the way you're meant to say it. But I don't, I guess this is from like the books. I always think of Winnie the Pooh as being an animation, but I think it's actually a book first. So, oh, we have gotten into a very kind of blue with some turquoise in there. That is not what I was expecting, because Piglet is pink. However, one thing that they've, I mean Robin has done, is she split out the days to tell you kind of which story they come from. So there's kind of each day, and they're not in order, so it's not like all the first one comes from the first story. And day 3 is from a story called In Which Piglet is Entirely Surrounded by Water. So that makes sense for a kind of water, and it follows on the kind of fade that we're doing through the Crafty Bird advent. So as usual, that's the one I work up, and you will see that knitted up a little bit later today. I feel like now that I've said it out loud, I'm getting so nasally. So this is Pigment Ply. So this is the Society of Quiet Solitudes, and colourway 3 is called Poems in Pencil, and I'm really interested to know whether this one is going to be a variegated colourway or a tonal. Oh, stop it. Oh, that's so pretty. So it's a variegated, and it's got these kind of, that's not showing up super true to colour on camera, but it's got these kind of greys in there and these kind of burnt oranges and browns. That's so pretty. That's the problem with these. Like I was saying before, when they do full skeins, I'm already just like, God, I want 100 skeins of this. I have had an idea for a pattern. I guess kind of like a bit of a freehand pattern, so one that I would do myself. for this. It requires me though to know whether day 4 is going to be a tonal or not, because I don't know if we're getting 1 tonal per mood board of 4 colours or whether we're getting 2. So once I know that, that will kind of inform as to whether the thing I have in my mind will work, because it would require alternating variegated and tonal schemes. But I will talk to you more about that tomorrow once I find out, because I've had an idea. So the final one is the TedKnits. So again, this has been going quite well, just picking out at random. So I am feeling this one, which is called Cameo. I'm assuming this is going to be like a little ivory white kind of colour. Look at that. I'm so good at guessing. That is a really pretty colour actually. It is, I don't know if it will show up on camera, it is slightly variegated, so there's a few different tones of the ivory, but it's pretty tonal ivory white. So that's fine, and spot on for what I was expecting for a cameo. I wonder if you can still get cameos made. I'd love like a little carved portrait. Would I? Actually, I don't know what I'd do with that, with a little portrait of myself. But that is all of my advents for today. So what a good day. I mean, they've all been good days so far, but I feel like today has been a real winner. I mean, it's only day 3. I keep thinking like there's so much advent to come that I need to not overdo it at the start of advent. So I'm going to go and do some productive things. I might make a lasagna. It's not even 10 o'clock yet, but I might make the lasagna so it's made and then I can just put it in the oven later. And then I will sit down and do a little bit of crafting. So I will speak to you a little bit later on. Hello, it has been kind of like 4 hours, I think, since I last spoke to you. Oh, sun's a bit bright. I have done some packing that I hope you're all very proud of me for. I packed 3 boxes. I think it just got really dark. I've packed a total of 3 boxes. I'm running into a bit of an issue where we bought boxes months ago and we've not started packing yet, but everything I own is really heavy, so I feel like all the boxes are going to then be really heavy, which makes me feel like I'm using lots of boxes. Like I've used 2 boxes, let me show you down there. 2 of those boxes are mostly just my playing card collection, because I collect playing cards. But because they get quite heavy, I've had to split them across 2 boxes, which just was quite inefficient. And then I'm just looking at all the books that I've got in my house, and I feel like I need to think of a better packing solution for heavy things so that I can use the boxes for kind of bulkier items. But to be honest, that's not really why I turned the camera on. I was going to show you some progress. So I have knitted up day 3 of my Crafty Bird advent. So let me show you that a bit closer. So you can see that the blues are really kind of popping out there where it's knitted up. And it's a really nice, I love with the Crafty Bird how, because you get a lot of variegation in a lot of her yarns, but we've still got a nice fade going on, which I think is fun. Rather than the fades, because sometimes you get a fade and it takes like 6 colours for the, 6 yarns for the colour to change, which isn't usually my favourite, so I'm enjoying this quite a lot. So I've done that, again, it's an hour of knitting at most. And that's because, to be fair, it is quicker. Sometimes I feel like I'm a fast knitter, and sometimes I feel like a slow knitter. It really just depends on the vibe of the day. And today feels like a slow knitting day. I thought that this morning where I sat down to knit. I just didn't feel like my hands were moving very fast. I'm looking at the wrong part of the camera as well. Apologies for that. I have also wound up. I think I did this yesterday, actually. Yeah, I did. I did this yesterday, so I'm not trying to steal productivity. I think I told you I did this yesterday as well. So this is the last ball of yarn I had that I got from the Southern Wool Show. So it makes quite a chunky ball of yarn. I am going to start putting this into my sister's scarf project. So then I think I can probably finish the last 20 inches on that this week, because it's a chunky project. It doesn't take super long to knit up. And then that's another gift knit done. And then I thought I would show you, there's another project that I cast on at the weekend that I haven't actually shown you yet. So if you've watched my channel before, you will know that I am getting the Woolen Witch Nautical Nexus Club, which is their subscription club this year, and I get it on a full 100-gram skein of DK in their 100% BFL base. This is the colourway for October. Yes, this is the colourway for October. So it's a nicely variegated purple colourway. I don't have the tag near me, so I don't know what the name is. And I'm knitting this into a City Walk hat by Celeste Knitwear. The last hat I knit was the Rosy Dawn hat by Celeste Knitwear, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a mostly ribbing hat, but it had just it had a slip stitch detail that made it a bit more interesting. This is how it's knitting up, and I really love how this yarn's knitting up. I'm still just on 1x1 rib at the moment on 3.25mm needles, so there's not a lot of interest, but I will keep you posted on this because I will show you when I get to the stitch repeat. It's a kind of moss stitch ribbing variation that I think plays out really nicely, but like I said, I will show you that when I get to it. So that's what I've been knitting on. I think I'm going to put that away though now and add that ball into my sister's scarf so I can get going on that, because really I need the yarn to be added, and then I'll be motivated to just pick it up for an hour or so here and there across the week. I've made a lasagna. I think I might try and do a little bit more packing. It's only 2 o'clock, there's plenty of the day left. But I think I might also need to plan my packing a little bit more. I kind of just started packing and I don't think I've actually done it in a massively efficient way. And I've already come across the issue where I don't know where I'm going to store the boxes that are packed. So I need to figure that out as well. I almost feel like I need to move before packing, but obviously that doesn't make any sense. But if everything just wasn't here, I'd have loads of room to pack, but then I wouldn't need to pack, so that's stupid. But I'm gonna go and do one of those things. I will let you know. I might check in with you again later. If not, it'll be tomorrow on day 4, and I will check in with you in the morning when we do Advents. So on the edge of your seats, you'll find out in a second. Good morning. Welcome to day 4 of Advent. It's only 8:22, it's earlier than I normally film these because my boyfriend he left the house earlier today. So it's a bit darker, but I've turned on the light on, so actually I think it looks brighter in the camera. You can't see outside because it's a bit blown out, but it is a grey and drizzly day here in the south of England, which I quite enjoy, to be honest. It makes it feel cosy, and it feels like that should be the kind of weather we have this time of year. I'm going to open my Advents. My plan for today is mainly packing related, so you might not see a lot from me today. Not that you've seen loads from me on other days, but let's open Advents. I'm going to start with these 2 that I have gotten out of their bags because the montages of me... Oh, I've gone out of focus. Oh, there we go. The montages of me trying to find these would have probably got a bit boring. Day 4 of the Yarn Whisperer Steampunk Oz is called Copper Dorothy, which is interesting. So maybe we're going to go for kind of a deep orange. Oh, so we've landed. I think it's got like some of the red from like Dorothy's slippers, but with some... Is that going to focus? There we go. With some oranges throughout as well for the copper. That's really fun. I'm excited for the colour palette that we're building there. Actually, let me not rustle the tissue. Why do I keep going out of focus? Maybe because I'm like leaning out of camera. Let me lean in. So that was the Yarn Whisperer. Let's go for the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen from Greenlambkin. And this colourway is called Peppermint Creams. Why does my camera not want to focus quickly today? And we've got this lovely mint green with some kind of brighter spots, and then with some brown speckles and kind of pops running through it. That's really fun. That's all of the ones in the packages. I was looking for another one then. What order shall we do the others in? Should we do TedKnits next? I'm wondering, I'm doing it in different orders each day. I don't know, is that really annoying? I wonder, let me know in the comments, because I'm filming these weekly. Would you rather I open them all in the same day, like in the same order, or is the randomness fine? I can't tell whether I would find that annoying or not. Let's go for one right in the middle. This is Twilight Cathedral. So I'm expecting a kind of deep, moody colour. That is exactly what we got. So we've got this variegated grey. That's really lovely. So that was Twilight Cathedral from TedKnits. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I have a feeling I'm getting slightly ill. I normally do get ill in the month of December. It's a kind of, I mean almost every year I get ill in the month of December. I don't know if this is it though, or I don't know if, because I was packing yesterday, if there's just a lot of dust in the air which is making me a bit like sneezy, so we'll see. Let's put those up there. Let's go to Pigment Ply next, seeing as it's on top. So with Pigment Ply, I'm interested to know, because if this is a tonal, it might inform what I'm going to knit with it, because I have a kind of, I want to say design, but really it's kind of a freehand thing in my head. Actually, let's look up the colourway name first. So, day number 4 is called No One Writes Anymore. Oh, it is a tonal. Oh, that's such a nice... it's coming up a little bit yellower on camera. That's probably a slightly better... a really nice kind of burnt orange brown tonal. In which case, that means my freehand idea would work. How interesting. I don't know whether I'll get to it this week. It's not going to be one that I try and keep up with throughout the month, because I think I'd fall behind. But I will probably talk to you more about that maybe next week. Maybe tomorrow. It's only Friday. No, it's only Thursday today. So I might talk to you a bit about it tomorrow if I have some movement. And then finally, last but not least, we have the Crafty Bird Christmas at Pooh Corner. Honestly, I'm having such a good time. I love Advent. It truly is the most wonderful time of the year. This is called A Peaceful Sort of Day, number 4. Where's number 4? 5, 16, 13, 14, 15. There we go. I think it like swapped itself. I think it had fallen down. So A Peaceful Sort of Day. So we've been in the blues for this one, and we're staying in the blues, but we're moving towards more. You're getting more of like less of the blue, and we're moving more into kind of like lighter colours there, which is nice. I like how this fade's working out. I'm enjoying knitting it up. I will show you this later when I add it into my, whatever the name of the pattern is that I'm knitting with this one. That's completely blank. So that is my Advents for today. So like I said, the main goal for today is packing. I did 3 boxes yesterday. My plan is to do at least another 3 today. We've run into a bit of an issue where I've realised everything we need to pack is really heavy. Not everything, but most things. Like there's a lot of books that I need to start working out, and I'm not sure whether the size boxes I've got are appropriate for, because obviously you don't want a really heavy box that no one can move. So I need to kind of look into that as to work out, is that actually an issue, or are we fine? But I'm going to try and clear off the shelves so I can take the shelves down and then fill the holes in the walls. I think is my goal. But if I'm honest, I'm already a bit bored of packing. I'm only 3 boxes in and I have a whole flat to pack, so it's not boding well. But I will find some time to knit and potentially probably some crochet today as well. And then I will catch up with you probably later on today, but it might be tomorrow, depending on how the day goes. I might get just so lost in packing that nothing else crafting-wise happens today. But either way, you'll find out, like right now. Good morning. Welcome to day 5 of Advent. I don't think I filmed anything else yesterday other than me opening my Advent, so you're kind of, this might be a little bit deja vu. although for you that was mere seconds ago. It's been a full 24 hours for me. I'm going to open my advents, and then I will, a little bit later on, I will catch you up on some of my crafting, because if I didn't film anything else yesterday, that means I've also not shown you my, am I blown out again? I think I might be a little bit. It's a grey and cold, it's only 2 degrees day here in the south of England. But let's crack on with opening advents, and then I will catch up with you at some other point today. Yesterday was a bit of a write-off, just in general, really. But let's crack on. Let's start with Greenlambkin Yarn, shall we? So this is the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen advent. And, oh, we've got some stitch markers with this day. I was about to say this month's, this day's. That is adorable. So we've got a little lobster claw that's a little gingerbread man. Or woman, depending on how you want to think of it. And then also a few other of the kind of little circular stitch markers with some beads on. If I move out of the way, it might focus. There we go. That's cute. I think the lighting's rubbish this morning, so apologies. If any of the yarn looks rubbish, I will be doing like weekly roundups at the end of the week. I almost moved on without looking at the yarn. So this week's yarn is called Glacier Cherries. Oh, that's fun. That's a very festive colourway. So you've got the greens in there with the little pops of red. That's very, very Christmas vibes, isn't it? I like that a lot. I love that little, is it glass? I don't know how, I was tapping it on the table, I don't know. It feels like it might be glass, but it might be a resin. So let's move on to the Yarn Whisperers. So the Steampunk Oz, and day 5 is called Gear Heart Tin Man. Ooh, so my assumption's that we're going to go kind of silvery, but we will see. Oh, we have, oh, a nice kind of bluey grey there. So you've got these kind of pops of more blue, but then it's also grey. That's really fun. So that was Gear Heart Tin Man. Let's do the Crafty Bird next, shall we? So, day 5 of the Crafty Bird. I feel like I'm racing through these. Day 5 of the Crafty Bird is Kanga and Roo, which I'm assuming will maybe have some like orange in it. Oh, it does. That's really pretty. It's a very kind of soft colour, and then you've got, there's a little bit of blue still in there, kind of carrying on the fade, but then you've got some pops of the pink, and then we're starting to have some oranges pop through. That's lovely. The thing I love about a Crafty Bird fade is because it's not like a solid colour fade, and it's not a subtle fade. You can make quite jumps between colours, so that would be fun to see that work up. I then have the Pigment Ply, Society of Quiet Solitudes. And this is the first day of our new mood board. So this is the mood board that we're going to be on for the next 4 days. So it's kind of a subtle variation. It leads into, it's a little bit warmer and there's a bit more orange in there. And day 5 is called The Sound of Other People Talking. So let's find, there we go. Oh, lovely. Yeah, you can see that kind of, there's a big pop of orange at the end. And then it's variegated with, there's even some kind of green in there at the bottom. And some, that's really pretty. Like I said yesterday, I'm starting to have thoughts about what I want to do with this. I think I have like a bit of a pattern in mind, like a freehand. It's not super complicated. It'll probably be kind of garter, but with some shaping in to make, I suppose, essentially a scarf, maybe more shawl vibes that I'm considering. So I might get started. I probably won't get started with that today, to be fair, but I might get started with that over the weekend. But depends how busy the weekend is with packing, as always. Sometimes I will say things with the greatest intentions and then will be weeks later and I won't have done any of that. So, TedKnits. I'm interested to see if you've got the TedKnits advent. It'd be interesting to know what order you've picked things in, because we might be having completely different advents, which I suppose might make it a bit annoying to watch, to be honest, because you might be getting just loads of spoilers. My camera's about to run out of battery, so let's do this quickly. This day is called Hemlock. I didn't even look to pick that one. Oh, that is lovely. Hemlock's a really, really deep, emeraldy, kind of ivy green. That's very pretty. Right, my camera's about to die, so I will leave it there for advent opening, and then I will catch up with you later on for crafting and some other bits. And I'll chat to you a bit then, so I will see you then. Hello, I'm back. It's now a bit later in the day, so it's just before 3. And I thought I'd give you a bit of a crafting update, seeing as I didn't give you one yesterday. And then I'm also going to give a bit of an update on some gift knits, because I've made some progress. So, this is where I'm up to on my Scattering Petals cowl. So, I didn't show you this yesterday. So we have those last 2 colourways added in. Let me hold it up like that. So we've added those in, so you can see we've kind of got a nice fade now, but now we've popped out to a much kind of warmer, the light's making it seem a little bit warmer on camera than it is in person, but if I hold it back there, so that's coming up nicely, and we seem to have left the blues now. So I think I don't have the little pamphlet, I think we're now in the second story of references from the... No, that's not the way it works. Ignore me. I'm just saying words. But that's where we're up to on that. So all caught up with that, which is nice. It's kind of less than an hour's worth of knitting, because it's only, each section is an 8-row repeat. And there's a little bit of kind of slip stitching and that you do for a few rounds, and then it becomes quite simple kind of ribbing. I've also just had a delivery. So if you, this isn't really an update, but if you have seen my podcasts, you'll know that for my nephew for Christmas, I am making some of these crochet squares, which I'm going to sew on to some t-shirts, and the t-shirts have just arrived. So I always think kids' clothing is so kind of, it's just tiny, isn't it? So adorable. So the plan is, I bought 10 of these because they had an offer on. So the plan will be to essentially sew them on kind of where a pocket would be, as just like a little pop of colour on there, and it's replicating a t-shirt from Marks and Spencer's that you really liked, but I'm making a bunch of different squares. So I've got this one, I've got a granny square, and I've got some single crochets in a few different colours. One that actually I can test it now. So this is one that I made that has bubbles on it, and I really like this. I think texture wise it's the most fun, but the way the swatch worked out is it came out a lot bigger, and I'm wondering, it might be silly, it might look silly. I'm okay with it looking silly. I'm not kind of looking for heirloom pieces with this gift, to be honest, so it might be fine. It's actually not too bad. I couldn't really, when it comes to kids stuff, I can't picture sizing in my head. So sometimes I think about my nephew and I think his head is like the size of an adult's, and then sometimes I think it's the size of a pea. So I can't really work out sizing, but I now have the t-shirt, so I need to finish the squares, which I'll do first. And then I need to work out sewing them onto. So I think I'm just going to use my sewing machine and just sew them onto the t-shirts like that. I just need to look up what best stitch to do that with and how to do that, because I've never sewn crochet onto what is, these are 100% cotton t-shirts, but whereas t-shirt is, are they 100% cotton? I might have made that up, that might not be true. I feel like they were 100% cotton. Let me just check the label. Does it say? Yeah, 100% cotton. But obviously it still has some stretch in it because of the way the fabric's made. So I need to figure that out. So fingers crossed for that. But I think that's a next week job. I mean, it's Friday, so it's not a this week job. And then one thing I did last night is I finished my fisherman's rib scarf that I was knitting for my sister. So my sister is getting 2 handmade gifts from me this year, but they're kind of a set. So this is using this kind of really chunky yarn. I mean, it's not really chunky yarn, but using this chunky yarn from the Southern Wool Show. I do not remember who sold me this yarn. It was at the Southern Wool Show. They have a few stands where it's just kind of lots of yarn laid out. And this is a very kind of woolly wool, straight from the sheep yarn. So I made this hat. This is the Salish cap by Mary Pranika, but it's not really because it's much bigger. But it's using all the same mat and the same needles. It's just a chunkier yarn. And then this is a Purl Soho pattern called the Seafaring Scarf, and it's a really simple, it's a free pattern on the website. I'll have it linked below, and it's just an all over fisherman's rib. And I think I have learned that this is all over fisherman's rib, it's not half fisherman's rib. So we have the fisherman's rib on both sides. I think this has turned out really lovely. It's a very simple scarf and hat set, but I think my sister used to wear this like blanket scarf that she used to wear all the time, and I think this is actually quite like a chic combo. I actually think it's turned out really nice, so I'm really happy with this, and I think my sister will get quite a lot of wear out of it, so I'm looking forward to it. It just looks, I mean, it's not that warm here at the moment, so I could definitely wear this inside, but I think this has just turned out really well. And I think it will look even better under, my sister has longer hair than I do because she doesn't do a buzz cut. And I just think this is going to look really good. I think she's going to really love it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So that is a win. This was kind of one of those bigger projects because it's just, where it's a scarf, it uses quite a lot of yarn. Like there's over 500 grams of yarn in this scarf, so it's quite, but where it's a chunky, it's still knit up quite fast. Some patterns are weird like that, where they feel like they're big projects, but when you actually think about it, they did knit up quite fast. And that is all of the grown-ups handmade gifts done so far. I now just have my 2 nephews to do, which makes sense for me because my Otto, it's his first Christmas, so he won't remember either way. I'm still going to make him something. And then Leo's is, I think he might hate it, or he might just not care. So I'm happy that I've got the adults because they understand a little bit more and they'll understand that I've put time into making these gifts. But that's where I'm up to with my gift knits really. So I'm kind of unsure where I'm packing at the moment. I'm unsure as to how I'm going to organise my knits because I want to make sure I don't want to pack anything that I think I might want over the coming, realistically probably next 2 months that it will probably be in a box for. So I need to figure that out, but also I want to be able to pack my yarn, so I need to maybe make some project plans for the things I want to work on over the next couple of months. It might be a good idea to use another one of my advents because then obviously that yarn's out and I won't pack it because I'm still opening it. Rather than anything that's currently in my stash might be the move, but we will see. I'm not going to make that decision now. Like I said, it's just about to turn 3, so I'm going to, I don't know really. This will probably be the last you hear from me today because I don't think I have anything else to show you. I might do a little bit of packing. I might just sit and, I haven't watched a Christmas movie yet this year, so I might put on a Christmas movie and just do some knitting and have a bit of relaxed end to Friday before my boyfriend gets home and we sort ourselves out for the evening. So I will probably see you tomorrow. I'm not sure what my weekend's got planned, but Saturday will be the last day that's included in this video. It might just be my unboxing, my advents. There might be some other stuff going on tomorrow that I show you. So you'll find out. I don't know why I preempt because you find out in a minute. I don't need to explain. So you'll find out like right now.